Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, 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 Unmatta Natana Tandavam, Matte Bhavadana Bhasuram, Chittabja Bodha Bhaskaram, Ayatta Yogarajitam, Vittesha Nitya Pujitam, Uttana Pani Mudritam, Shri Krittivasa Sasutam, Kailasa Drisha Dinartanam, Bhaktantaranga Vartanam, Papauga Pashakartanam, Shri Parvati Sutam Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje. Lambodharanga Tandavam, Mudrakarabja Panditam, Sarvanganagamandhanam, Vande Vinayakam Patim. Dhim dhim mitakitamartalam, bam bam ninada shankakam, Ananda nitya tatparam, Dhyayami pramathanayakam, Amodakaramodakam, Vedantamati madakam, Dushkarma phalasadakam, Vigneshwaram Gurum Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje. Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam, Moshakya Daitya Maranam, Sansara Jaladhi Taranam, Staumi Prabhu Naravaranam, Panchasya Madi Daivatam, Devarishibhi Samarchitam, Aloka Galita Sanchitam, Vignadhinathamaashraye. Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje. Lokaika Parama Vaibhavam, Lokeshwaradi Sambhavam, Aloka Parihatodbhavam, Alokaye Param Bhavam. Shri Krishna Kavi Niveditaihi, Shlokakhya Modakairimayihi, Ananda Ganapatim Patim, Aradhayantu Sadhakaha. Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje, 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 Shri Datta Ganapatim Bhaje.
Brahma Samarambham Shri Dattatreyamadhyamam Shri Datta Swami Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Sarva Vishwanyasta Padapatmayate Vamahastalola Vedasastrayate Jnana Suryayate Datta Rupayate Shri Venugopala Krishnaya Vandanam Shri Venugopala Krishnaya Vandanam Shri Venugopala Krishnaya Vandanam Gurudatta Shri Datta Prabhudatta Pahimam Vididatta Haridatta Haradatta Rakshamam Pahimam Datta Rakshamam Datta. Swami Namaskaram Swami.
Pada Namaskaram Swamiji. With salutations at the lotus feet of Shri Datta Swami, let us begin the Satsang with Shri Radha Krishna Gita. At present, we are going through chapter 11, which is Moksha Prapti Vichara Yoga, the association of the enquiry about the attainment of salvation. I offer this dedication at the lotus feet of Swamiji. From you alone is all knowledge sublime, and everything that's great and fine. All the ignorance and error are but mine, for I am just a soul, and you the goal divine. Trusting your compassion benign, my errant service I yet consign to those holy lotus feet of thine, Shri Datta Swami, my Sadguru trine. Sorry. So the chapter begins with a question by Shri Radha Devi. Shri Radha Devi Uvacha Chaturvidheshu Sankshipta Dvividha Prema Kamayoho Tesham Saram Vistarena Bruhi Me Madhusudana. Now the meaning by Swami. Shri Radha Devi spoke, O killer of the demon called Madhu, you have already explained the 4 types of souls which are condensed into 2 types in the context of love and lust. Please explain the essence of these souls to me. So if you recall, in the 10th chapter, Lord Krishna had classified people into 4 categories. And those categories are seen down below. There are souls which have love-based love towards God. And then, so what is love-based love? So they basically love God and they do not express their love in the form of lust. They simply have pure lust for God. Pure love for God, and they practically sacrifice to Him. There is not the physical lustful form of expression at all. So that is love-based love. The second category is, so this is the first one, love-based love. The second category is love-based lust. So there is an expression of lust, external lust towards the human incarnation of God by the devotee. But that expression of lust is the result or the expression of true love that exists. Internally there is true love, and that externally it expresses as lust. So that is love-based lust. So these 2 categories are pure and divine. The first one is obviously the highest. There is no expression of lust at all. It is pure love. The second one also is pure in the sense that despite the expression of the external lust, internally there is pure love. So in that sense it is good. So both these categories are good and divine, whereas the other 2 categories, which you see over here, number 3 and number 4, these are impure and worldly. In fact, they are demonic. The third category over here is lust-based love. And then there is lust. So and there is lust-based lust. So lust-based love means the person loves the human incarnation, the devotee loves the human incarnation because the devotee feels that the incarnation can satisfy her lust. So the cause is lust. And then there is some love, but that love is based on lust. And the worst category is lust-based lust. So there is no love at all, there is only lust. And naturally, these two categories are the third and the fourth categories. These two lower categories are the worst. So we had discussed these four types previously. So now Shri Radha is asking Lord to explain these two further. Shri Krishna Bhagavan Uvacha Mumukshurbaddha Jivascha Dvaveva Jagati Sthitau Bahusthayi Sthito Hyadyah Parodhama Sthiti Sada. God Shri Krishna spoke, there are two types of souls in this world. The first is the soul that tries for salvation with a lot of interest in God. And the second is the soul that is stuck to worldly life alone. The second type of souls always remains at the bottommost level. Souls belonging to the first type can be at different levels as they travel on the path to reach God. So this basic classification among souls, apart from that fourfold classification that was shown on the previous slide, broadly there exists a twofold classification. One is the spiritual souls and the other is worldly souls. The spiritual souls are those who try for salvation. They have a lot of interest in God. They do not want to remain attached to the world because there has been some realization in some birth or the other in them that God is the greatest, God is more precious than anything in this world. Because of that realization, they have developed that interest in God and they want salvation, salvation from the worldly bonds. They want to have a bond with God, and as a result, the worldly bonds are going to fall off and they want them to fall off. So that is the first category. The second category are the so-called worldly souls. These are souls who are stuck to worldly life alone. They are not interested in God. They do not want any salvation. In fact, they specifically, some of them at least, specifically reject spirituality because spirituality may cause them to go away from their worldly bonds. They enjoy the worldly bonds and they want more of it. So these are people who are stuck to worldly life and they never want liberation, salvation. They don't have any genuine interest in God. Of course, within this category, there are some people who appear to be devoted. In fact, the majority of people around us who appear to be devoted belong to only the second category. There are very few people who belong to the first category. So these people, they appear to be devoted to God. They appear to have a lot of interest in God, but they only use God as an instrument for fulfilling their materialistic desires. They are afraid that something bad may happen to them, something bad may happen to their loved ones, or they may lose some money, they may lose their respect and status in society, and the only person who can protect them is God. And that is why they have some interest in God. But it is not that they truly have any interest in God. If they truly had any interest in God, they would belong to the first category. If you have interest in God only because God can help you secure your materialistic needs or wants, then it means you do not have any interest in God. It means you have interest only in the world. So then in that case, you belong to the second category alone. Now, Swami further says that souls belonging to the first type can be at different levels as they travel on the path to reach God. So just because a soul is spiritual does not necessarily mean that all souls belonging to that category are at an equal position. Having chosen God or having developed an interest in God over and above your worldly bonds, you should have an interest in God that is greater than your interest in worldly matters. Naturally, every person has interest in their own worldly bonds. But if your interest in God exceeds your interest in the worldly bonds or your worldly matters, then the person can be classified in the first category. But in that first category also, there are levels among souls. To what extent a person has interest in God determines that level within that category. And all souls are not equal in that. Then Lord Krishna proceeds further. Premadhara prema chabhram kama kama premashrayantare sheshau bhumi gartasthau vimarshena samammatam. The category of love-based love, that is the first category, is the highest like the sky. So now we come back to that fourfold classification of which is on the basis of love and lust. The four categories being love-based lust, love-based love, lust-based love, and lust-based lust. So now those four categories are being ordered in sequence. So which is the highest? The highest category is that of love-based love. It is like the sky. The category of love-based lust, which is the second category, stands in the middle region between the earth and the sky. The remaining two categories of lust-based lust and lust-based love are the lowest. They are deeply buried in the earth, with no opportunity to rise to the space between the earth and the sky. So you have the first category over here, love-based love, that is sky high. That's the highest. And then the love-based lust is somewhat lower than that. It is between the sky and the earth, but that also is above the earth. So in that sense, it is also pure. But the other two, the lust-based love and the lust-based lust, they are absolutely demonic, and they are as if they are beneath the earth. They are buried under the earth. So one should try for the first two. This is the second one, and this is the third one, and this is the fourth one. So these the bottom two are not at all meant for spiritual life. They are meant for worldly life alone, and that too worldly life which is bound in all negative cycles of birth, animal-like births and demonic births. People who have these forms of lust, the lust-based lust and lust-based love, they belong to the category of animals and demons. So these two should be avoided. And for people who are interested in the spiritual path, they should belong to one of the first two types. Prema Brahma Jagat Kamaha Tyaga Swarthau Krameణ Tau Prathamo Mukta Jivastu Dvitiyo Moksha Sadhakaha. Love is God and lust is the world. Sacrifice is God and selfishness is the world. The liberated soul represents love-based love. The spiritual aspirant, constantly making spiritual effort to reach God, represents love-based lust. So that the first two categories are described over here, love-based love and love-based lust. Love-based love is that which is exhibited by liberated souls. And the love-based lust is that which is exhibited by aspirants, spiritual aspirants, people who have not reached the highest state of devotion, the climax of devotion, and who have not been liberated yet, but are on the path to liberation. They represent love-based lust. So they cannot control their lust, but the good thing is that that expression of lust is due to true love. So that is why that also belongs to the good category. And this is said because love is God. It is said in a metaphorical sense. In the Upanishad, it is said, Raso Vaisaha. He is indeed love. Saha means he. Who is that he? God. God is indeed love. It is not said that God is indeed lust. It is said that God is indeed love. Rasaha. So he is pure love. Then what about lust? Lust is a worldly quality. Lust belongs to the world. So in a metaphorical sense, we can say that lust is the world and God is love. And similarly, sacrifice is God and selfishness is the world. True love is proved in sacrifice. If there is no sacrifice, or if one avoids sacrifice for the loved one, it means you do not love that person. There is no true love. God tests the true love of devotees in their ability to sacrifice their worldly bonds for his sake. So the devotees who are successful in sacrifice, they prove their love to be pure. Their love is proved to be pure. So sacrifice, and in fact the greatest sacrifice can only be done by God. So he is sacrifice, and then all worldly people, they are selfish. Like I said, even if they appear to be devoted, they are devoted because they feel that their devotion will yield some material benefits. So their devotion is also utterly selfish. So the souls in the world are selfish. God is the embodiment of sacrifice. Those souls who get liberated and who merge into God are souls who are able to disconnect themselves from their selfishness and who are able to develop true love for God, and they prove their true love through sacrifice. They are the ones who get liberated. They are the ones who have that love-based love. People who are trying to reach that state, they have love-based lust because they have not overcome their lust yet. Kama kami pashu prayah papakarma rato nisham kama prema moha martyah prema kamasya nanyatha. The category of souls having lust-based lust contains human beings who are just like animals. Like demons, these souls are always involved in sinful actions for self-pleasure. The next category of souls with lust-based love also lead an almost animal-like life. All their love and even all their thoughts of love are only about lust. Between these two categories, the lower two categories, lust-based love and lust-based lust, between these two categories, the souls belonging to the category of lust-based lust are always involved in the activity of lust without even wasting any time on the feelings of lust. The souls of the second category at least spend some time enjoying lustful thoughts apart from engaging in lustful activities. In any case, both these categories are almost one and the same. So the lower two categories, lust-based love and lust-based lust. The lust-based lust is the lowest. It is the worst because these people they do not even have any thoughts of love. They are only concerned about lust. They only engage in lustful activities. This category, lust-based love, they are maybe slightly better because they engage in lustful activities, but they also have some feelings of love, but those feelings of love are based on lust. Moreover, these are the people who also think about lust, think about doing lustful activities. The lowest category, they don't even think about anything. They just do. They act. It is said, there are some people who, normal, intelligent people, think and then act. But there are some people who act first and think later. But the worst category is people who act, and even upon acting, they don't even think. So this lust-based lust, this category of people is like that. They just act. They don't even think. They have no feelings. They simply engage in lustful activities. They do not even think. They don't have any feelings of love for the person with whom they are engaging in lustful activities. So these are the worst. These are maybe somewhat a shade better. They have feelings about lust and they have some love-like feelings, but those love-like feelings are actually based on lust. So in any case, both of them are worldly and animal-like or demon-like. So there is no point in engaging in such behavior, because this behavior is not going to be useful on the spiritual path. This is only going to bind the soul into worldly life in a manner that is almost impossible to escape. That is what is told over here. It's actually in the next verse coming up. Tejo vapushvakamatvad bhakta prema phalapradam iha chedanyatha kamaha tatrapi vasanamitaha. It is true that lust disappears when the soul takes up an energetic body in the upper world after death. But even in the upper world, this lust remains in the soul in a very subtle form called a vasana. For the soul in an energetic body, even this vasana becomes an obstruction to merge with God. Generally, we expect that once the soul enters into an energetic body after death, the soul will merge with God, since the lust automatically disappears in the energetic body. This is said only because the lust present in that very subtle form is neglected due to its very, very small quantity. But strictly speaking, even this subtle form of lust shall be absent for the soul to merge with God in the upper world. So the context of this is, we have seen in the previous chapter that lust is a quality that basically belongs to the material world. It is a quality related to tamas. Tamas means matter. Tamas means inertia, tamas means matter, it means darkness, it means ignorance. So lust is a quality which belongs to the tamas category of gunas. Now, the material world contains matter. So in this world, you find a lot of tamas. In the energetic world, in the upper worlds, they are energetic worlds. There is no matter. There, tamas exists only in negligible quantities. Mostly it is rajas and sattvam. Sattvam is the awareness that energetic beings have. Energetic beings of the upper world, they have sattvam. And their bodies are made out of energy. The whole world is made out of energy. So that is rajas. So in the upper world, tamas exists in a negligible quantity. in the material world, when we are human beings having human bodies, tamas exists in a significant amount. And the lust that we experience is the result of this material body. When the material body is dropped in death, when we die over here and when we go to the upper world, we will have energetic bodies. There is no tamas over there. There is no matter over there. The tamas is negligible. So there is no lust over there. So if that is the case, then why are we being told to eliminate our lust? Isn't it possible that when we drop our physical body over here, our lust also drops off right over here, and we go to the upper world, we are free of lust. And since we are free of lust, we can directly merge with God. At present, you can blame us by saying that, no, you are not worthy of merging with God. You are not pure enough. You have so much lust. I will say, okay, no problem. When I die, I will drop my physical body over here. I will go up in an energetic body. There is no lust over there because there is no tamas. So now I will be eligible to merge with God. So here Swamiji is saying that it is true that when you go to the upper world, because you do not have a material body, there will be very little tamas. And so the lust also mostly will drop off. There will not be a significant amount of lust. But a tiny quantity of lust in the form of a vasana will still remain. What is a vasana? A vasana is a quality that exists in a very mild form, in a very small quantity. Traces of vasanas can be translated into the term which is a trace of something. I think Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to give this example that if you cook a dish with garlic, and let's say you've eaten it already fully, and the vessel is washed. Even after washing the vessel, there will be still some smell, some trace smell of garlic in that vessel. So that is comparable to a vasana. A vasana is a trace quantity of a certain quality. So when you go to the upper world, if you have not conquered your lust over here, if that lust has not been eliminated while you were here in the material human body, in the upper world, when you get an energetic body, there will be some traces of that lust. And even that trace lust that exists in you, in your soul, in the upper world, prevents you from merging with God. That becomes an obstruction. So next verse. Yadi tatra vasanapi nasya tadiha sadhanam karyam kamasya nashaya yena tatra na vasana. If a devoted soul wants lust to be absent even in subtle form in the upper world, the soul shall attain such a state here itself while present in the material body. This means that if lust is completely destroyed while you are alive, it will not exist in you even after you go to the upper world in an energetic body. So the only way that we can completely eliminate lust is if we work on it here in the material body. And the reason is, this is a karma loka. This is a world of action. This is where you can put in the necessary effort for spiritual growth, for spiritual evolution. In the upper world, mostly no additional progress can happen. Whatever is the achievement in this birth, in human form, that alone continues in the upper world. if you have conquered lust in this human birth, you will be free of lust even in the upper world. If you have not conquered lust in this material body while being on earth, in the upper world, traces of lust will remain, but even those traces of lust will disqualify you from merging with God, from being fully liberated. With even those traces of lust, if you are here in the material body, you will not be liberated, as that lust itself is a bondage. So you are not liberated here, and as a result, you will not be liberated in the upper world. You will not merge with God. So if you have to merge with God in the upper world, the only way to do that is to overcome lust completely. Even the traces, those vasanas of lust, must be eliminated here itself while being in the material body. Once that is done, liberation is assured. Jivan muktirihaiva syat videha muktirurdhvagaha urdhvaga prema prema vina kamam prapyam bhuloka jivite. If a soul gets salvation here, that is Jivan Mukti, we can consider that the soul will also retain that state of salvation when it goes to the upper world, that is Videha Mukti. Hence, there is only a continuation of the soul's state without any change from here to there. Therefore, the soul must attain the stage of love-based love without any lust during its lifetime in this world itself. So this is very important. We must attain the state of love-based love without any lust during this lifetime itself in this world. Because whatever is the state that you achieve over here, the same state will continue in the upper world. If you attain mukti, mukti is liberation, while you are here in human form, in a material body, that state of mukti continues in the upper world. The state of mukti, when you are still living here as a human being, is called Jivan Mukti. The state in which you remain in the state of liberation in the upper world after dropping off your human body, that is called Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti is Mukti while you are living, Jivan, and Videha Mukti is the Mukti when you do not have a Deha. A Deha is a body which burns. The material body burns. After you are dead, you will be cremated. So the body that burns is a Deha. In the upper world, you will have a body, but that will be an energetic body. So if you have Jivan Mukti, if you are liberated while you are living, that liberation continues in the upper world, that is called Videha Mukti. With the same logic, if you attain the state of love-based love while you are here on earth, you will retain that state of love-based love in the upper world. Unless you attain that kind of love, a lust-free love, you will not attain liberation. The Jivan Mukti will not be possible. If you have lustful thoughts about God, if you engage in lustful activities, if you wish to engage in those activities with God, you cannot be liberated while being in this material body. And then, naturally, when you go to the upper world, traces of that lust will still remain with you, which will disqualify you from liberation over there also. Yesham kama guno bhumau na tatrapi gunachyutihi asadhyo vasana nashah kim vaktavyam gunasthitau. There are devoted souls in which in this world trying to remove their lust, which is in the subtlest vasana state. At the same time, there are other souls living here whose lust is in the grossest guna state. So Swami is explaining the three levels of inequality, the three levels of intensity or three levels of strength of inequality. Inequality in a subtle state, in a very weak state, is called a vasana. The same quality in a moderately strong, moderately intense state is called a samskara. And the same quality in the strongest sense, in the strongest state, highest intensity state, is called guna. So a vasana, when strengthened, becomes a samskara, and a samskara upon further strengthening becomes a guna. This applies to any quality. It could be a good quality or it could be a bad quality. Kama or lust is also a quality. So there can be kama in the vasana state. A person may have a mild lustful tendency. We say that that person has a kama vasana. If that person, another person, let's say, another person has got a stronger tendency of lust, we will say that that person has a kama samskara. Kama means lust. Kama samskara. And let's say there is a person who has a highly intense lustful tendency, then we will say this person has a kama guna. So vasana, samskara and guna, these are in increasing order of strength. So this same thing is explained by Swami in the form of an analogy. The analogy of the three states of water are given here. A quality such as lust in the weak state is called a vasana. It is like water vapor, which is water in the gaseous state. A quality like lust with moderate strength is a samskara. It is like water in the liquid state. A quality like lust with the highest strength is called a guna, which is like ice, which is in the solid state. It's the same water in the solid state. It is very difficult to destroy lust even in the vasana state while living in this world. In that case, what to speak of destroying the lust in the guna state? See, I was mentioning that this material world has tamas. The tamas is very strong in this material world. Everything, the food that we eat is matter ultimately. See, we categorize food as sattvika food, rajasika food, tamasika food and all that. Ultimately, that food is matter. And matter fundamentally is tamas. Within that, there are some forms of food which encourage sattvic tendencies in our mind. And there are some forms of food which encourage the rajasic tendencies in our mind and other foods which encourage the tamasic tendencies in our mind. But basically matter is tamas. So all the interactions that happen in the world involve some amount of good, significant amount of tamas. So it is very difficult to escape from tamasic qualities while you are a human being in a material body. Needless to say that you cannot escape from tamas, from lust also, because lust is a tamasic quality. Lust, even in the mildest state, which is a vasana, is very difficult to remove in the world, while living in this world. So if someone has a very strong lustful tendency, you can imagine it is almost impossible to remove. Kamo yadi guno bhutah Baddha jivotra shashvatam ubhayatrapi narake brahmatyeva surah pashuhu. If lust reaches the state of guna or a strong quality, in the case of a bound soul of dushpravritti, that soul is a permanently condemned soul. Such souls will go on rotating between the hell on earth while being alive and the hell present above after death. It is an endless hellish cycle for such souls. Such souls are called as both demons and animals. So the lustful quality is very serious. If it gets strengthened or reinforced to the level of a samskara and then to the level of a guna, as long as it is in the level of vasana, we can, through some effort, we can try to eliminate it. But if it gets strengthened to the level of a samskara or further to the level of a guna, it is impossible to remove. What happens to such people? Such people, they engage in dushpravritti activities with such a strong tendency of lust. You will inevitably violate the rules of dharma. Your lustful activities will be illegitimate activities. And when you commit such sins, sinful activities, there is inevitable punishment for you. After death in hell, you will be punished severely. Upon returning to earth, after that punishment, you are not going to get any good life cycles. You are not going to become a human being and a human being with good spiritual opportunity ever. You are going to, most probably going to be born as an animal. And then you will engage in that same lustful activity. Again, God will, it is like when your clothes get dirty, you put them in the washing machine. And then you wash them and then you go out. Again, it is all dusty, the clothes get dirty. Then you bring those clothes home and then you put them in the washing machine again. So every time you will be washed and scrubbed and washed and scrubbed after every life cycle. That washing and scrubbing happens in the Narakaloka. Now that washing machine seems to be a very gentle kind of treatment. In previous times, there used to be this dhobi ghat. Nowadays also it exists in some places. That dhobi ghat, they have these washermen, they beat that cloth with these clubs, these nice stout wooden clubs. They beat these clothes in order to clean them properly. So they soak them in water and they beat the hell out of them. So that is the kind of treatment that is given to souls in the upper world in terms of punishment for their sinful tendency. So they are thoroughly washed. अच्छे से धुलाई की जाती है. That is the point. अच्छे से धुलाई करके फिर से जन्म दिया जाता है, फिर से वही काम करते हैं, फिर से धुलाई होती है. So you again and again from the experience in hell, the soul's tendency may reduce a little bit. But when it is born on earth as an animal, again the tendency picks up, it grows, and the soul engages in similar lustful activities. Again, the soul is punished and it is beaten thoroughly. So there is hell in the upper world and there is hell in these hellish births, because on earth it is not born as a very good human being. It is born as an animal, a wicked, cruel birth. So these are demonic births, animal births that one can expect if the lustful tendency reaches the strength of a guna. And sometimes we find people like this. We must have come across some people, they do horrible crimes due to their excessive lust. These are not human beings. Some cases recently came up, few years ago, they came up on television also. The horrific, horrific crimes that people do, which we cannot imagine. Such acts cannot be done by human beings. These are demonic acts. So such people, this is the fate. This is the fate of such people. These are the people in whom lust has solidified like ice, like a solid, hardened, lustful tendency. There's no solution for that. They have to go through these endless hellish cycles. When they come on earth also, they'll get a beating. In the upper world also, they'll get a beating. It's the only way that hardened rock-like tendency can be broken. Then after innumerable cycles, if they show some improvement, then God may be kindly disposed towards them and he may give them another opportunity. But that opportunity is very rare. So since we have received this highest grace of God in terms of this human birth, and not only a human birth, but also the privilege of listening to the divine knowledge of a human incarnation of God in human form, that is our Swamiji, we should not squander this greatest opportunity. Whatever be our gunas, let us try our level best to put them aside. Be it lust, be it any other negative quality, let us try to put them aside and pay more attention to Him and the knowledge that He is giving, so that some improvement may come in us and we are spared of this horrible, horrible fate. अतो मोक्षे महान् यत्नः कार्यो लौकिकजीविते असाध्यं क्रियतां साध्यं दैवभक्तिसहायतः. Therefore, souls shall put in the highest effort in this human life here itself to attain salvation. In fact, salvation can be understood to be almost impossible for any soul. You have to make this impossible thing possible. In this effort, only God can help the soul. Therefore, along with the efforts for the salvation from worldly fascinations, the soul shall develop devotion to God. The soul shall become a very strong devotee of God, because attaining the soul's desired goal of salvation is very, very difficult. People who desire salvation, they want salvation because they have realized that the worldly bonds give them pain. The worldly bonds ultimately result in suffering. Temporarily, they seem very pleasant, but over time, you realize that they are giving you a lot of suffering. Yattadagre vishamiva pariname mruto. The other one, sorry. So that which tastes like amrutam initially, but later on it feels like poison. Vishaha is poison. So that is the nature of worldly bonds. And God is the opposite. God is the opposite. Initially, it appears as if He is like poison. But later on, in effect, He is divine nectar. Why does God appear to be initially poison? Because He tells you to break your bonds. He tells you to break your worldly bonds. Does anyone like that? No, no one likes that. So initially, God may appear to be very unpleasant, but in effect, you are spared of all the suffering. Worldly bonds, on the other hand, initially seem to be very pleasant. They attract you. They give you immediate pleasure. So initially they appear like amritam, but later on, what is the consequence? The consequence is that they cause tremendous suffering. So in effect, they are poison later on. So soul's wish for salvation because they do not want that suffering. Those souls who have analyzed worldly life, who have analyzed the consequences of worldly actions, who are wiser than most others, those people realize that we should not be attached to this world. We should not be attached to these worldly bonds. Ultimately, it is going to cause too much suffering. Let me get liberated from it. No, but that is only part of the story. That is half the story, and it is not even the most important part. The more important part is you should develop devotion to God for two reasons. One is that you cannot liberate yourself from the worldly bonds. Unless you have God's grace, you will never be able to detach from those worldly bonds. That is the first reason why you should be devoted to God. But more importantly, you should be devoted to God because God is the greatest. There is nothing more great or nothing more attractive than God. So one should, rather than defining your life or defining your spiritual effort in a negative way, what do I mean by a negative way? I want to escape from worldly bonds. This is a negative definition of the spiritual path. I follow the spiritual path because I want to escape from the world. This is a negative definition of the spiritual path. On the other hand, if I say, I follow the spiritual path because I love God, because I have realized that God is the greatest, that is a positive definition of the spiritual path. So why should you be devoted to God? Because God is the greatest, because God is the most attractive, because He is the most lovable. That is the reason you should follow the spiritual path. Not simply because the world is too painful and I want to run away from the world. So I cannot escape from the world. Let me take the help of God so that He will help me escape from this painful world. That is not the main reason. The main reason is that He is so attractive, He is so great. Nevertheless, you should understand that liberation from worldly bonds is not possible for you on your own. For you on your own, it is impossible. It is said almost over there because it is possible through God's help. As far as you are concerned, you are incapable of escaping from worldly bonds. You need His grace, and therefore devotion should be the central effort. When you are devoted to God, the detachment from worldly bonds is going to happen automatically. You don't have to make any separate effort for that. You leave that to God. You just love Him. Don't bother about anything else. When the attachment to the worldly bonds has to be eliminated, it will get eliminated. It will automatically fall off. You need not be bothered either way. At present, if you are attached to your worldly bonds, don't bother about it. Later on, when the attachment to your worldly bonds vanishes, then also don't bother about it. Your attention should never be on the worldly bonds. The attention should be on God. And the diamond is shining in front of you. Why are you worrying about charcoals? Your sight should be fixed on the diamond. You just focus your attention on the diamond. Charcoals will vanish on their own. In fact, this is also the reason why Shankaracharya, whose Advaita philosophy claims that the soul itself is God, still he encouraged, or in fact, he made it compulsory for even the people following the path of Advaita to be devoted to God. It is absolutely essential. Even for the Advaita Siddhi, he said that you cannot remove the Vikshepa unless you are devoted to God. His followers objected. They said, if I am Brahman, I am God myself, why do I need to be devoted to some other form of God? He came up with this whole theory that no, there is the vikshepa and that will not vanish. The hardened consequence of your ignorance will not vanish unless you devote yourself to God, unless you surrender to Him. He had to come up with that theory because the actual reality is that liberation is impossible without God. In fact, the spiritual effort itself is not possible without God. God should be in the center of the spiritual effort. So I think I'll pause at this point and hand over to Suryaji. Pada Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Sir, your audio is muted.
Surya sir, we are not able to hear you. We're able to see your screen though.
Hello. Now we are. Now am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, there was. Okay. Now we are in the 10th chapter of Kama Prema Bheda Vichara Yoga, and we have covered the first 34 verses. So I will repeat. I will start from the 35th verse. Just 1 minute. Akshipanti Kaminam Mam Modha Mama Drushi Sthitam Ichha Matram Jagat Sarvam Tepi Metra Vinodadaha. Vinodadaha, meaning by Swami, instead of realizing that God is helping lustful devotees, causing their reformation and spiritual upliftment, ignorant fools criticize me as a monger of romance with females. In my view, this entire world is just my imagination and my will only. Therefore, all these ignorant critics too are only giving me a variety of entertainment. Next verse. Gopyah Kachayani Puja Snanasthas Tadigambara Kanya Mam Varamichantyo Dharma Bhange Prabodhita, meaning by Swami. Some unmarried gopikas were performing the worship of goddess Kachayani Devi with a desire to get me as their husband. They went to River Yamunā and were taking a bath in the water naked. The ethical scripture says that one should not take a bath naked in the open. One should wrap the body with a towel. I preach to them about this justified tradition. Next verse. Maya hrutani vasamsi namaskaraya piditaha bodhita dharma shastram cha bhavipatyur name pyagham. Meaning by Swami, I stole their clothes which they had left on the bank of River Yamunā. When they prayed to me to return their clothes, I pressed them to salute to me with both hands raised above their heads. They did so, and I returned their clothes to them. I preached to them about the justified tradition of how to take a bath in the open. Continued. Anyway, I am going to be their husband in the future, since they are worshipping for that very purpose. Hence, sin cannot touch me. Just as the illusory Krishnas created by God Krishna were dancing with the married Gopikas, only illusory Krishnas would marry these Gopikas. God Krishna had told the Gopikas that he would marry them, but it was only an Ardhavada, because he had not revealed the secret of creating illusory Krishnas to anyone. He revealed this secret only to Radha at the time of the Rasa dance in the form of this Gita. God Krishna, seeing the naked bodies of those Gopikas, is not a sin from the point of view from the point of view that God Krishna is the creator of this world. Next verse. Na kevalam dharma shastre vedante cha subodhitaha tamai brahma visvasaha rushayo hi tapasvinaha. Meaning by Swami, I not only preached to the bathing Gopikas about the ethical scripture, but also clearly preached spiritual knowledge to them. The bathing Gopikas, along with all other Gopikas, are sacred sages who had done penance in their past several births to attain my grace. These Gopikas have recognized me as God with their spiritual power and have undisturbed, firm faith that I am God. Next verse. Srushto deha pravruddhascha mayaivākhila divinam sargasthiti laya brahma karmaniti srutiritam. Meaning by Swami, the bodies of all souls have been created and grown by me alone. The Veda says that creation, maintenance, and dissolution of this entire world are the three divine actions of God alone. Next verse. Srushti kartuhu puro lajja jnanam kim brahmana param adrustam namaya kim syat paramanu rapikshitaha. Meaning by Swami, I am the creator of this entire world, and every atom of this world is designed and materialized by me. The body of any soul is a tiny part of this world alone. Hiding the body before me due to shyness is total ignorance. Will such ignorance be the spiritual knowledge of God? Whatever is there in my imaginary world, is it not seen by me? Next verse. Brahmarshayopi gopyangam upadhim prapya vismrutaha upadhi sangafaritaha prajnana manupadhikam. Meaning by Swami, even though these gopikas were divine sages and they perfectly knew all the Vedic spiritual knowledge, they forgot all that sacred knowledge once they were born in the bodies of these female gopikas, and they began to possess qualities like shyness. As a result, they became like ignorant souls due to the effect of the female human medium associated with them. The deepest spiritual knowledge shall be always beyond the influence of the associated medium. Excellent point here. Next verse. Laukikaah pamara bhrantaah strilolam kathayanti mam sadajnana masajnanam dve netrarma yugam mahat. Meaning by Swami, these worldly people are ignorant and are trapped in this illusory world. Hence, they call me a womanizer. These people have very strong cataracts in both their eyes. One cataract is the ignorance of the true knowledge, and other cataract is the knowledge of falsity, which means that they believe falsity to be the truth. So, iti Shri Datta Swami Varachita Shri Radha Krishna Gītāyam Kama Prema Bheda Vichara Yogo Nama Dasamadhyāyaha. Like this, in the Shri Radha Krishna Gita, composed by Shri Datta Swami, the 10th chapter called The Association of the Enquiry about the difference between lust and love is completed. So now we'll go through the next chapter. So this is this 11th chapter is Moksha Prapti Vichara Yogaha, the association of the enquiry about the attainment of salvation. So the first verse is Shri Radha Devi Uvacha Chaturvidheshu Sankshipta Dvividhaha Prema Kamayoho Tesham Saram Vistarena Bruhi Me Madhusudana. Meaning by Swami, Shri Radha Devi spoke, O killer of the demon called Madhu, you have already explained the 4 types of souls which are condensed into 2 types in the context of love and lust. Please explain the essence of these souls to me. So, it is one category that is pure and divine is love-based love and love-based lust. Second, that impure and worldly is lust-based love and lust-based lust. So impure because they are based on lust, and pure because they are based on love. Next verse. Shri Krishna Bhagavan Vuvacha Mumukshur Baddha Jivascha Dvaveva Jagati Sthitau Bahusthai Sthito Hyajyaha Parodhama Sthiti Sada. Meaning by Swami, God Sri Krishna spoke. There are 2 types of souls in this world. First, the soul that tries for salvation with a lot of interest in God. Second, the soul that is stuck to the worldly life alone. The second type of souls always remains at the bottommost level. Souls belonging to the first type can be at different levels as they travel on the path to reach God. Next verse. Premadhara Premachabhram Kama Premasrayontare Seshau Dvau Bhumi Gartasthau Vimarsena Samam Matam. I'll just repeat. Premadhara Premachabhram Kama Premasrayontare Seshau Dvau Bhumi Gartasthau Vimarsena Samam Matam. Meaning by Swami, the category of love-based love, that is first, is the highest, like the sky. Now, the category of love-based lust, that is the second, stands in the middle region between the earth and the sky. And the remaining 2 categories of lust-based lust, that is 3, and lust-based love, that is 4, are the lowest. They are deeply buried in the earth with no opportunity to rise to the space between the earth and the sky. Next verse. Prema Brahma Jagat Kamaha Tyagaswarthau Kramena Tau Prathamo Mukta Jivastu Dvitiyo Moksha Sadhakaha. Meaning by Swami, love is God and lust is the world. Sacrifice is God and selfishness is the world. The liberated soul represents love-based love. The spiritual aspirant constantly making spiritual effort to reach God represents love-based lust. Next verse. Kama kami pasu prayaha papa karma rato nisam kama prema moha matsyaha prema kamasya nanyatha. Meaning by Swami, the category of souls having lust-based lust contains human beings who are just like animals. Like demons, these souls are always involved in sinful actions for self-pleasure. The next category of souls with lust-based love also lead an almost animal-like life. All their love and even all their thoughts of love are only about lust. Between these two categories, the souls belonging to the category of lust-based lust are always involved in the activity of lust without even wasting any time on the feelings of lust. The souls of the second category at least spend some time enjoying lustful thoughts apart from engaging in lustful activities. In any case, both these categories are almost one and the same. So again, pure and divine is love-based love and love-based lust. They are based on love. So they are pure. Whereas the impure and worldly, if you see, they are based on lust. Whether it is lust-based lust or lust-based love, both are based on the lust. That's why it is impure. And it is lust is worldly. And love is divine, related to God. Next verse. Tejo vapu swakamatvat bhakta prema falapradam ihache danyatha kamaha tatrapi vasanamitaha. Meaning by Swami, it is true that lust disappears when the soul takes up an energetic body in the upper world after death. But even in the upper world, this lust remains in the soul in a very subtle form called a vasana. For the soul in an energetic body, even this vasana becomes an abstraction to merge with God. Generally, we expect that once the soul enters into into an energetic body, after death, the soul will merge with God. Since the lust automatically disappears in the energetic body. This is said only because the lust present in that very subtle form is neglected due to its very small quantity. But strictly speaking, even this subtle form of lust shall be absent for the soul to merge with God in the upper world. Next verse. Yadi tatra vasanapi nasyat tadiha sadhanam karyam kamasya nashaya yena tatra na vasana. Meaning by Swami, if a devoted soul wants lust to be absent, even in subtle form, in the upper world, the soul shall attain such a state here itself while present in the material body. This means that if lust is completely destroyed while you are alive, it will not exist in you even after you go to the upper world in an energetic body. So, next verse. Jivan mukti rihai vasyat videha mukti rurdhvaga prema prema vina kamam prapyam bhuloka jivite. Meaning by Swami, if a soul gets salvation here, that is Jivan Mukti, we can consider that the soul will also retain that state of salvation when it goes to the upper world, that is Videha Mukti. Hence, there is only a continuation of the soul's state without any change from here to there. Therefore, the soul must attain the stage of love-based love without any lust during its lifetime in this world itself. So now if you, the same thing is tabulated here, essence. On the earth, if one gets Jivan Mukti, the same continues, the same status continues in the upper world, and that is Videha Mukti. So the same, likewise, love-based love should be attained on the earth, and so the same thing continues in the upper world also. Yesham kama guno bhumau na tatrapi gunachyutihi asadhyo vasana nasaha kim vaktavyam gunasthito. Meaning by Swami, there are devoted souls in this world trying to remove their lust, which is in the subtlest vasana state. At the same time, there are other souls living here whose lust is in the grossest guna state. So it will any quality exists in vasana or samskara or guna. So as you proceed towards guna, the strength of that is the highest. And the weakest is the vasana, which is like gaseous, and samskara is like liquid, and guna is like the solidified state. A quality such as lust in the weak state is called a vasana. It is like water vapor, which is water in the gaseous state. A quality like lust with a moderate strength is a samskara. It is like water in the liquid state. A quality like lust with the highest strength is called a guna, which is like ice in the solid state. It is very difficult to destroy lust even in the vasana state while living in this world. In that case, what to speak about destroying the lust in the guna state? The next verse. Kamo yadi guno bhutaha baddha jivotra sasvatam uhayatrapi narake brahmatyevasura pasuhu. Meaning by Swami, if lust reaches the state of guna or a strong quality in the case of a bound soul of dushpravrutti, that soul is a permanently condemned soul. Such souls will go on rotating between the hell on earth while being alive and the hell present above after death. It is an endless hellish cycle for such souls. Such souls are called as both demons and animals. So this is shown in a pictorial way. So lustful sins on earth, and that will lead to sufferance even on the earth itself, that is hell on earth. And the same continues even in the upper world like hell above earth. The sufferance will continue, and the soul takes the rebirth again, which need not be a human birth. It can be even a demon or an animal. And then again carries on the same lustful sins on earth. So it's a cycle. The soul is trapped in that. Next verse. Ato mokshe mahan yatnaha karyo laukika jivite asadhyam kriyatam sadhyam daiva bhakti sahayataha. Meaning by Swami, therefore souls shall put in the highest effort in this human life here itself to attain salvation. In fact, salvation can be understood to be almost impossible for any soul. This is a very crucial point here. In fact, salvation can be understood to be almost impossible for any soul. You have to make this impossible thing possible. In this effort, only God can help the soul. Therefore, along with the efforts for the salvation from worldly fascinations, the soul shall develop devotion to God. The soul shall become a very strong devotee of God, because attaining the soul's desired goal of salvation is very, very difficult. So here we'll stop this and read some question answers. So these are all a set of question answers on April 21st. The first question was April 21st, 2025. The first question was asked by Durga Prasad, and the same second question also is by him. Can we say that the invention done by souls, such as weapons, is sanctioned by God? Okay, now the detailed question is, God gave free will to souls. Gita says everything is under the control of God, which means that the fruit is as per the will of God. Can we say an invention done by souls, such as a mass destructive weapon, is finally sanctioned by God for some purpose? Otherwise, why not God stop such ideas at the root level? To those souls, please enlighten me. At your lotus feet, Durga Prasad. Swami replied, we hear in scriptures that there are weapons like Brahmastram, Narayanastram, and Pashupatastram, which are more dangerous than these nuclear weapons. Those weapons are possessed by various forms of God like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Such weapons were never used, and even if they were used, they were subsided in the beginning stage itself by divine people. The possession of such horrible weapons will create fear and discipline even in the minds of bad people. But at the same time, such dangerous weapons should not be used practically. If you possess such a weapon with you, bad people will fear to harm you in the beginning itself. The serpent is advised to hiss and threaten people who throw stones on it, even if the serpent, even if the serpent is going on its own way. The serpent is advised not to bite people. Today, peace lies in the world because several countries have nuclear weapons in their hands. In this way, nuclear weapons build the initial discipline in the world. which is not really good, but essential for a temporary initial discipline. We hear horrible punishments given in hell, and hell in this way controls society to some extent by creating fear in the people doing sins and thus reduces the sin. The permanent solution for peace and discipline is the propagation of spiritual knowledge of God. But side by side, fear for hell also must exist, like the bodyguards walking alongside a distinguished personality. A temporary first aid box is essential in every medical case. There is a necessity of police stations along with the honorable courts to deal both civil and criminal cases. Next question is by Mr. Xavier. Question is, Swami, can you give me some suggestions to reduce my overweight? Swami replied, God Krishna told 2 points about himself. One is that there is nothing that is not attained by him. And another is that there is nothing to be attained by him. Nanavaptam avaptavyam. Gita. Taking this concept as guiding factor, I give you 2 simultaneous suggestions. First, to remove the already loaded weight in the body by doing physical exercises. And second, not to load the body with further matter by controlling the intake of food. Oh, excellent. Thus, exercise and dieting will control the overweight of your body. Really excellent. Then there is a question from Mr. Kenan from Syria. Baba came in visions in the form of Madhusudan Sai. Are they one or a student merged with Sai Baba? The detailed question is, please, I want to ask Swamiji. I was a devotee of Satsai Baba. Recently, Baba started coming in visions in the form of Madhusudan Sai and gave me Shivalingam. I still do not understand. Are they one completely or a student merged with Sai Baba? Or a student merged with Sai Baba? Swami replied, the miraculous powers of God are distributed in several devotees for vigorous propagation of existence of God in order to bring discipline and fear for sin in this world. Yajjat vibhutimat sattvam. Vibhutimat sattvam. From Gita. Are you not finding several forms of Prema Sai doing the same miracles done by Sri Satsai? All this is the mission of God, mainly to protect justice and develop fear for sin in the hearts of human beings so that the human society will be peaceful without any tensions. We should not develop meaningless questions like when Prem Sai is only one to come in the future, how so many Prem Sais are appearing? Such questions can also be answered by remembering that God is omnipotent to do any impossible thing as possible. The messages and miracles of all these forms of Prema Sai shall be taken as the single topic of existence of omnipotent God, who is the establisher of justice and destroyer of the injustice, thereby developing full faith in the existence of heaven for meritorious devotees and the existence of hell for the unjust demonic people. This is the main important point of God, and we were always accustomed to do research on wasteful points under the headline of important topics. Excellent point here. Then we have again series of questions on May 1st, 2025. Series of question answers. And the first question is asked by Miss Trilokya. The question is, when you go to Vijayawada, I feel like you went to a different planet. How to overcome this feeling? The detailed question is, Swami, whenever you travel to Vijayawada and leave Hyderabad, I feel like you have gone to a different planet. When you are in Hyderabad, even if I do not visit you, I feel that you are close to me since we are in the same city. How to overcome these feelings? Swami replied, these feelings are the symptoms of true devotion. They are appreciable and you need not overcome these feelings which will develop your devotion to God. Oh, excellent. And the next question is also by her. When you appreciate a devotee, how does the devotee know whether you mean it really or for the sake of encouragement? The detailed question is, Swami, when you appreciate or praise a devotee, how does the devotee know whether you mean what you say or you are just saying for the sake of encouragement of the devotee as Ardhavada, that is beneficial sinless life? Swami replied, the devotee need not know that it is an Ardhavada, because if the devotee knows that it is Ardhavada, the devotee will not be encouraged at all. And the purpose of Ardhavada is completely lost. Very, very subtle point here. When Ardhavada is told, Swami will never reveal it as Ardhavada to the devotee. In spiritual knowledge, this concept of Ardhavada has to be revealed because all the concepts of God must be clearly explained. Very beautiful. Since the name of the devotee is not revealed in spiritual knowledge, there is no danger of discouragement. If the devotee gets ego by the influence of Ardhavada, God will definitely reveal the truth of Ardhavada to the devotee to save him or her from the fall. If the devotee continues with good nature without getting influenced by the Ardhavada in negative way, God will not reveal the Ardhavada to the devotee. Next question is also by her. Which of the following is a better choice for a devotee when troubling the incarnation with distrust and insult? The detailed question is, which is the better choice for a devotee when the devotee is displeasing and troubling the incarnation with distrust and insult due to lack of devotion? So the first choice is to leave the incarnation and do penance until the ego and jealousy are controlled. In this choice, the devotee will have a satisfaction that he or she is not displeasing God with his or her penance. The devotee can come back to the incarnation with a purified mind and continue to please God again. And the second choice, that is option, to remain with the incarnation and continue to purify its devotion simultaneously. In this choice, the incarnation has to suffer until the devotee comes to the normal state of devotion. Swami replied, the second choice is better than first choice. What do you mean by penance? Penance is thinking over the subject of God deeply. With the help of God, you can have a better thinking with better truth. Taking the help of contemporary human incarnation of God as your guide is always better to cure the ignorance, like treating your illness with the help of the doctor than doing self-treatment. Oh, excellent. The next question is also by her. When God is already an ocean of bliss, why should a soul please God as the only aim of its human life? Swami replied, it is not for the sake of real pleasure of God. Oh, very important point here. It is not for the sake of real pleasure of God. Here, your intention is the main point. Your intention to please God pleases God. Even before you please God, He is already an infinite ocean of bliss. The point here is that God wants to know your intention and its practical implementation. To uplift you only, your intention and practice are tested by God. God is actually neither pleased nor displeased, since He always remains in full state of satisfaction. Apta kamasya kaspruha Veda. Nanavapta mavaptavyam Gita. The next question is also by her. Is God a notion of love for all kinds of souls? The detailed question is, Swami, you told that God has an ocean of love on every soul, and a soul's love is just a drop. But you also told that God's love is just the reflection of a soul's love. How do you correlate both these statements? A soul can be a devotee or a non-devotee or an atheist. In such case, does God have an ocean of love for all? In such case, does God have an ocean of love for all kinds of souls? Swami replied, God has infinite love on every soul and wants to uplift even an atheistic soul. Moreover, God never becomes your enemy even if you insult Him to infinite extent. He becomes angry only when you trouble another devotee. The next question is also by her. How can Shiva suffer due to the separation from Sati and Rama due to the exit of Sita when God is always blissful? The detailed question is, when there is nothing to be attained by the blissful God, how can God Shiva suffer due to the separation from Sati? And how can God Rama suffer due to the exit of Sita? Swami replied, all these actions of God are meant for the ordinary people, ordinary souls to build up a strong and justified worldly life, pravritti. Developing a strong bond with one's spouse, forms a basis for a stable family life so that children can be happy. So it's almost 8 o'clock, so I will stop here. And Namaskaram, Swami.
Namaste.
Namaskaram, Swami.
Yes.
We shall start the bhajans now. Okay, sir.
Muncha muncha Krishnam vanchakantamekam. Muncha muncha Krishnam, muncha muncha Krishnam.
Muncha muncha Krishnam vanchakantamekam. Muncha muncha Krishnam, muncha muncha Krishnam.
Dattathreyam dayavihinam. काशीस्नानं कामविकारं वेदाध्ययनं वेश्यावश्यं ब्रह्मध्यानं मदिरालोलम्
मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं पञ्चतन्त्रमेकम् मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं
गीताचार्यं गोपीचारं मोहातीतं राधामोहं धर्माधारं परदधिचोरं यतितति सेव्यं रासक्रीडम्
मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं वञ्चकं तमेकम् मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं
दिगम्बराख्यं पीतदुकूलं लक्ष्मीनाथं भिक्षुकवृत्तिं वेदान्तानामुपदेष्टारं वेश्यावाटी पथिसञ्चारम्
मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं वञ्चकं तमेकम् मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं
मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं
वञ्चकं तमेकम् मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं मुञ्च मुञ्च कृष्णं
नमो नमो ब्रह्मास्त्राय सर्वशोक विनाशकाय नमो नमो ब्रह्मास्त्राय सर्वशोक विनाशकाय सांध्यदीधिति भामयाय वेदमन्त्र प्रज्वलनाय सांध्यदीधिति भामयाय वेदमन्त्र प्रज्वलनाय नमो नमो ब्रह्मास्त्राय सर्वशोक विनाशकाय इच्छयैव व्यक्तजगते सर्वसाध्य विभूतिमहते इच्छयैव व्यक्तजगते सर्वसाध्य विभूतिमहते अप्रतीपामेव विशते ब्रह्मतेजो राशिलसते अप्रतीपामेव विशते ब्रह्मतेजो राशिलसते नमो नमो ब्रह्मास्त्राय सर्वशोक विनाशकाय जपकमण्डलुतो यजाय ब्रह्मवाक्य विजृम्भिताय जपकमण्डलुतो यजाय ब्रह्मवाक्य विजृम्भिताय सर्वदैवत वन्दिताय सेवकायित सर्वस्त्राय सर्वदैवत वन्दिताय सेवकायित सर्वस्त्राय नमो नमो ब्रह्मास्त्राय सर्वशोक विनाशकाय अनघाशक्ति प्रचोदकाय दत्तात्रेय स्वरूपकाय अनघाशक्ति प्रचोदकाय दत्तात्रेय स्वरूपकाय आगम विद्युदुज्ज्वलाय ज्ञानमहाग्नि ज्वालिकाय आगम विद्युदुज्ज्वलाय ज्ञानमहाग्नि ज्वालिकाय नमो नमो ब्रह्मास्त्राय सर्व शोक विनाशकाय नमो नमो ब्रह्मास्त्राय सर्वशोक विनाशकाय कालभैरव कालदण्डं कम्पतर्जित ब्रह्माण्डं कालभैरव कालदण्डं कम्पतर्जित ब्रह्माण्डं दत्तसेवक रक्षणार्थं प्रार्थयामो बद्धदीक्षं దత్తసేవక రక్షణార్థం ప్రార్థయామో బద్ధదీక్షం కాలభైరవ కాలదండం కంపతర్జిత బ్రహ్మాండం దత్తభక్త విరోధి మారం నామశేషిత దైత్యశూరం దత్తభక్త విరోధి మారం నామశేషిత దైత్యశూరం ఆయుధానాం ఏకవీరం ధ్వస్తత్రిజగ దహంకారం ఆయుధానాం ఏకవీరం ధ్వస్తత్రిజగ దహంకారం కాలభైరవ కాలదండం కంపతర్జిత బ్రహ్మాండం లోకభాండ విభేదదక్షం దుష్టశిక్షణ శిష్టపక్షం లోకభాండ విభేదదక్షం దుష్టశిక్షణ శిష్టపక్షం సృష్టిచక్ర పరిభ్రమాక్షం సర్వరాక్షస జాతిరూక్షం సృష్టిచక్ర పరిభ్రమాక్షం సర్వరాక్షస జాతిరూక్షం కాలభైరవ కాలదండం కంపతర్జిత బ్రహ్మాండం వేదపురుష పాణినీతం దత్తదేవ కటాక్షపూతం వేదపురుష పాణినీతం దత్తదేవ కటాక్షపూతం జీవకర్మ విపాకపాతం గర్వితాసుర హృదయఘాతం జీవకర్మ విపాకపాతం గర్వితాసుర హృదయఘాతం కాలభైరవ కాలదండం కంపతర్జిత బ్రహ్మాండం కాలభైరవ కాలదండం కంపతర్జిత బ్రహ్మాండం దత్తసేవక రక్షణార్థం ప్రార్థయామో బద్ధదీక్షం దత్తసేవక రక్షణార్థం ప్రార్థయామో బద్ధదీక్షం ఓం శాంతి 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 వందనీయం విష్ణు చక్రం వారణార్థం ఛిన్ననక్రం వందనీయం విష్ణు చక్రం వారణార్థం ఛిన్ననక్రం ఖండితాసుర వృత్తివక్రం రక్షితామర లోకశక్రం ఖండితాసుర వృత్తివక్రం రక్షితామర లోకశక్రం వందనీయం విష్ణు చక్రం వారణార్థం ఛిన్ననక్రం ఆశ్రితామర భాగధేయం విక్రమోజ్వలమప్రమేయం ఆశ్రితామర భాగధేయం విక్రమోజ్వలమప్రమేయం ఆగమాంతర మంత్రగేయం శ్రీ సుదర్శన నామధేయం ఆగమాంతర మంత్రగేయం శ్రీ సుదర్శన నామధేయం వందనీయం విష్ణు చక్రం వారణార్థం ఛిన్ననక్రం కార్తవీర్య మహావతారం చోరదండన లోకచారం కార్తవీర్య మహావతారం చోరదండన లోకచారం ధారయాహృత భూమిభారం విద్యుదుజ్వల వల్లిహారం ధారయాహృత భూమిభారం విద్యుదుజ్వల వల్లిహారం వందనీయం విష్ణు చక్రం వారణార్థం ఛిన్ననక్రం వందనీయం విష్ణు చక్రం వారణార్థం ఛిన్ననక్రం మాధవాంగుళి నాభిసారం దత్తభక్త విపత్తిపరం మాధవాంగుళి నాభిసారం దత్తభక్త విపత్తిపరం అష్టసిద్ధి మహత్వపూరం శత్రుకర్తన కోటిహీరం అష్టసిద్ధి మహత్వపూరం శత్రుకర్తన కోటిహీరం వందనీయం విష్ణు చక్రం వారణార్థం చిన్ననక్రం వందనీయం విష్ణు చక్రం వారణార్థం చిన్ననక్రం కాలకాలకరాళ శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః కాలకాలకరాళ శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః ప్రళయకాల భయానకోగ్రం విద్యుదగ్ని వివర్షణాగ్రం ప్రళయకాల భయానకోగ్రం విద్యుదగ్ని వివర్షణాగ్రం కాలకాల శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః కాలకాల శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః రాక్షసాధమ భస్మశేషం రావణస్తవ వక్త్రఘోషం రాక్షసాధమ భస్మశేషం రావణస్తవ వక్త్రఘోషం మన్మథాకృతి దాహరోషం త్రివిధ కర్మ ఫలాగ్రవేశం మన్మథాకృతి దాహరోషం త్రివిధ కర్మ ఫలాగ్రవేశం కాలకాలకరాళ శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః కాలకాలకరాళ శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః దత్తసేవక శత్రునాశం ఖండితాత్మ ప్రతిఫలాశం దత్తసేవక శత్రునాశం ఖండితాత్మ ప్రతిఫలాశం పాతితాంతక జగదధీశం ధూతభీకర కాలపాశం పాతితాంతక జగదధీశం ధూతభీకర కాలపాశం కలకాలకరాళ శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః కలకాలకరాళ శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః ఉజ్వలజ్వలదగ్నిజాలం కౌరవాణం మరణలోలం పార్థదృశ్యం గరళనీలం వ్యాసబోధాత్ విదితలీలం పార్థదృశ్యం గరళనీలం వ్యాసబోధాత్ విదితలీలం కలకాలకరాళ శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః కలకాలకరాళ శూలం కామితార్థం కల్పయేన్నః
తృప్తాస్మః మాతః తృప్తాస్మః మధుసూదన సతి మంగళవతి వాత్సల్యామృత హర్షవర్షిణి రుక్మిణి వనమాలి మనోవాసిని వందే విదర్భనందిని వాసుదేవానంద సుందరీ తృప్తాస్మః మాతః తృప్తాస్మః అస్మాకం సదనే చరతి తవ చంచల కింకిణీక చరణే సంతత చింతామణిగణ సంతానదాయిని కాచింతా తృప్తాస్మః మాతః తృప్తాస్మః మధుసూదన సతి మంగళవతి తృప్తాస్మః మాతః తృప్తాస్మః వందేతి రమ్యం విశ్వైకగమ్యం ఉన్మత్తదత్తం గురుదేవం 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 వేదాంతసారం నానావతారం భక్తోపకారం భజ దత్తం వందేతి రమ్యం
విశ్వైకగమ్యం
उन्मत्तदत्तं गुरुदेवं 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 संसारपारं रुद्राक्षहारं निहारगौरं भजदत्तं निहारगौरं भजदत्तं वन्दे तिरम्यं विश्वैकगम्यं उन्मत्तदत्तं गुरुदेवं 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 काषाय चेलं पात्राक्षमालम् आम्नायमूलं भजदत्तं आम्नायमूलं भजदत्तं वन्दे तिरम्यं विश्वैकगम्यं उन्मत्तदत्तं गुरुदेवं 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 ज्वालाक्षिफालं ढक्कात्रिशूलं कण्ठाहि नीलं भजदत्तं कण्ठाहि नीलं भजदत्तं वन्दे तिरम्यं विश्वैकगम्यं उन्मत्तदत्तं गुरुदेवं 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 पादान्तचक्रं विच्छिन्ननक्रं श्रीशङ्खचक्रं भजदत्तं श्रीशङ्खचक्रं भजदत्तं वन्दे तिरम्यं विश्वैकगम्यं उन्मत्तदत्तं गुरुदेवं 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 कन्दर्परूपं सौन्दर्यदीपं योगीन्द्रभूपं भजदत्तं योगीन्द्रभूपं भजदत्तं वन्दे तिरम्यं विश्वैकगम्यं उन्मत्तदत्तं गुरुदेवं 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 मन्त्रात्मबीजं तन्त्रार्धभाजं श्रीयन्त्रराजं भजदत्तं श्रीयन्त्रराजं भजदत्तं वन्दे तिरम्यं विश्वैकगम्यं उन्मत्तदत्तं गुरुदेवं गुरुदेवं गुरुदेवं
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं वाणीमलिकुलवेणी एणी क्षणसुमबाणा शोणाधर करकोणा भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं कमलासन घन कामां विधिरामामभिरामां शमदम सुगुणस्तोमां घुम घुम सौरभभामा भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं शरदमलामज लोलां सत्कविकुल निज बालां गलकलित कमल मालां सुविलसित तिलक फालां भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं हंसयान चलदंसां हंसवाहनोत्तंसां हंसीं द्युतिजित हंसां हंसककलपिकहिंसां भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं आद्यामुद्यत् सद्यो विद्युद्युतिमनवद्याम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् वणितकच्छपीं हस्ते न्यस्तसुपुस्तकमालां प्रशस्तमस्ताभ्यस्तां स्तुतिभिस्ततामनस्तां भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् सङ्गीतमङ्गलाङ्गीं शृङ्गारशृङ्गरङ्गां भृङ्गालकनवभङ्गीं ब्रह्मसङ्गरसगङ्गां भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् इन्दीवर चन्दनरुचि कुन्देन्दुमन्दहासा आनन्दमरन्दाब्धिम् इन्दिरास्नुषां वन्दे भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम् भज रे वीणापाणिम्। ब्रह्मज्ञानी ब्राह्मणो हि नेता ब्राह्मण एकदत्तः ब्रह्मज्ञानी ब्राह्मणो हि नेता ब्राह्मण एकदत्तः भगवान् गायति गुणकर्मभिः सृष्टो वर्णो मयैवेति भगवान् गायति गुणकर्मभिः सृष्टो वर्णो मयैवेति ब्रह्मज्ञानी ब्राह्मणो हि नेता ब्राह्मण एकदत्तः जन्मनि वर्णे मनुष्यसृष्टे कर्ता नाहमिति च सुगीतम् जन्मनि वर्णे मनुष्यसृष्टे कर्ता नाहमिति च सुगीतम् ब्रह्मज्ञानी ब्राह्मणो हि नेता ब्राह्मण एकदत्तः गुणकर्म जन्म गुणकर्मात्म जन्म तु निरर्थकमिति सत्यम् गुणकर्म जन्म गुणकर्मात्म जन्म तु निरर्थकमिति सत्यम् ब्रह्मज्ञानी ब्राह्मणो हि नेता ब्राह्मण एकदत्तः 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 नेता नेता ब्राह्मण एक दत्तः नेता ब्राह्मण एक दत्तः धरती पर भक्तों के तुम हो उद्धारक भक्तों के कष्टों के तुम हो निवारक जीवों के भरता तुम ही हो मेरे पालक जगत गण हूँ मैं और तुम जग संचालक
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
सृष्टि स्थिति लयकारी तुम दत्ता अवतारी तुम्हारी लीला स्वामी जग से है न्यारी काषाय वस्त्रों में दत्त त्रिपुरारी तुम्हारी महिमा गाए हम सब नर नारी
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
त्रिगुणों के मालिक कर त्रिगुणों को धारण स्वयं ही सिखाए ज्ञान भक्ति समर्पण तेरे रमणार्थ सदा यत्न निरंतर तुम्हारी सेवा में ही मैं रहूं सदा तत्पर
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
वेदों के कर्ता तुम ही वेदों के रक्षक तुमसे ही वेदों का अस्तित्व अब तक वेदों के वचन हो तुम में ही सार्थक तुम बिन स्वामी है ये जीवन निरर्थक
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
प्रज्ञान स्वामी का है मोक्षकारी नष्ट करे सारे अवगुण हमारे जितनी भी चाहे हो इच्छा हमारी फिर भी न छोड़ा हमें बेसहारे
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
अहम में डूबे हम मनुष्य सारे करते तिरस्कार प्रभु का हमारे प्रेम से प्रभु सहते आरोप सारे फिर भी हमें स्वामी गले लगावे
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
अहम सोया बिन दत्ता को ध्यावे स्त्री अनसोया वही मानव होवे अंत समय में जो दत्ता पुकारे पुत्र समान दत्ता दौड़े आवे
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
छोड़े छूटे ना जो बंधन संसारी बंधन छोटे जो पकड़े प्रीत तुम्हारी चाहूं ना धन वैभव ना मुक्ति ही प्यारी तुम्हारी भक्ति स्वामी संपत्ति हमारी
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
यथा शक्ति यथा भक्ति चरण आरंभिक कर्म संन्यास कर प्रेम निर्धारित कर्म फल त्याग कर भक्ति प्रमाणित दोनों करे सो कर्मयोगी हो साबित
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
अमृत वचन स्वामी का नैया है पारे सुन ले मन तू हो जा
दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रिये वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् भक्त्यानन्या श्री दत्त स्वामिने समर्पयामि श्री दत्त स्वामिने समर्पयामि श्री दत्त स्वामिने समर्पयामि
उद्वेगरहिता संतोषरहिता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता ओम शांति शांति शांति
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
पादनमस्कारं स्वामी.
नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं
नमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
नमस्ते
नमस्कारं स्वामी.
नमस्कारं स्वामी
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
नमस्ते नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
पादनमस्कारं
नमस्ते
स्वामी.
पादनमस्कारं
स्वामी.
नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामी.
साष्टांग नमस्कारं स्वामी.
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामी.
नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
पादनमस्कारं स्वामी.
पादनमस्कारं.
नमस्ते नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामी.
नमस्ते नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामी.
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
प्रणाम स्वामीजी.
नमस्कारं स्वामी.
नमस्ते नमस्ते
स्वामी.
प्रणाम
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
नमस्कार स्वामीजी.
नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामी.
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामी.
नमस्ते नमस्ते
Is anyone left to offer pranams to Swamiji?
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
नमस्ते
पादनमस्कारं स्वामीजी.
नमस्ते नमस्ते
Padanamaskaram Swami.
नमस्ते